I said I wasn't gonna get them, and then I got them. Hi everybody, today I am taking a look at the Kelly Creates multicolor small brush pens. Now if you wonder why I'm chuckling, you may not have watched my previous video about the Kelly Creates Dream Pen set. How I thought that they were not bad, but I didn't really like the smaller nib and I thought that they were overpriced. Whatever, there's a video, I'll link it up above. And then I found out from some of you in the comments that in fact the small brush pens, these pens right here, the small nib on these is not the same as the smaller nib on the Dream Pen. People are telling me that these pens are actually much more comparable to these Pentel Sign Touch, I don't know what they're called. There's different names. I think they're the Pentel Sign Touch brush pens. You can buy them at Target and they have the little tiny brush on them. And I like these and I think these are great for beginners. So if these pens are more like that, I will actually be a lot more excited about them. But it's hard to fucking know because these don't have a lot of transparent, like there's not a lot of information out there. If you're at the store and you're trying to compare and it says these have small nibs and these are small nibs, how the hell are you supposed to know? These pens, you guys, are $27.99. God damn it. The other pens were $30, but they got 2 nibs. So I was like, okay, it's a lot of money. But I had a 40% off coupon today, so it brought it down to like $18. So I didn't, my cheapskate tendencies did not flare up too badly. But for now, let's just test these out, see if I like them, see if this collection can redeem itself after my kind of meh situation with the other ones. There is no information about these at all. There's nothing on here except for learn more at kellycreates.ca. And I looked up at kellycreates.ca and I did not see any good information about these pens. So that was a bust. Then I go to michaels.com and I take a look and the only information they have is includes assorted colors, 10 markers. They can create fine lines or dense strokes with utmost precision. Like that's about it. So, and there, yeah. Okay, so there isn't a lot of information about these except for the $27.99 regular price tag, and I'm not even going to try these yet, and I can tell you right now, don't buy these without a coupon. I feel like this line is expensive, and so if you're going to get something from it, you might as well use a coupon or wait until you have one. That's just my humble opinion. So here are the pens, and they are a lot smaller than the Dream Pens. These are really small. Look at this. Look how little this is. So here's the Pentel one. I wonder how it compares to the Pentel. Oh, they're about the same size. Actually, no, the Pentel's a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna eat my words there. Maybe I'm just used to using like a Tombow, which is fucking gigantic. Here's the nib for the pink Kelly Creates pen, and here's the nib for the pink. And they look very similar to each other, like extremely similar to each other. So I would not be surprised if they letter the same way. So let's try that out. Let's do some up and some down strokes and then try them with the Pentel and see what happens. Very, very similar to each other. They have almost exactly the same feel and flexibility, which is kind of cool. This pink is a little bit brighter though, but this is kind of rosy and I really like that. So I should also mention that this is the Rhodia dot pad that I got from Michaels, smooth paper so that it's not going to fray the pens. Let's get the gray Pentel and then the gray Kelly Creates and test these against each other. What am I going to write? I'm going to write brush pen or just brush, and we'll see how it feels to write each of these. Aside from the colors being slightly different, the thing I noticed right off the bat is that these nibs are almost a little bit more firm. These ones, these Pentels, when you go into this curve like that, you can feel the nib kind of flopping over. You can see it right there where it kind of goes like flunk, and it doesn't have a graceful sort of smooth into that transition. Whereas I didn't notice that with the Kelly Creates. It just pushed right into it. And I like this a lot better. The Kelly Creates was a lot more comfortable in that kind of a curve. Almost everywhere else, it felt the same. I'm gonna test out some different strokes here, some upstrokes, some downstrokes, and then some waves to see kind of how I'm feeling about the feel of it. So far so good. These are feeling super comfortable. I want to kind of test and see if that situation I was noticing here is the same on different ones or if it was just that pen. Nope, there's that same floppiness. You can see it. You can see where it flops. And this one doesn't flop, it just sort of squishes in.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign, I think. I'm already feeling better about these guys rather than I did about the Dream Pen. So I'm going to write their names and I'll just make a list of them. Nope, I'm stopping it right here. I just had that same problem with the C that I was having with the Pentels. Just wanted to make a note of that really quick. So here are the colors. I think that they are stunning. I would say that the warm gray, I almost wish that that was a cool gray, but you know, that's my own personal preference. When it comes to the actual lettering, I have found that just by lettering these out, I feel like it isn't quite easy to keep consistent with the thin strokes, but that's partly my heavy hand. But I will say that these are way easier to control than the smaller nib of the Dream Pens. I would say the biggest difference with these and the Pentel ones, aside from the color scheme being a little bit different, is that these are not quite as like juicy, as inky as the Pentel ones. Let's use the greens as an example. I'm just gonna write juicy, kind of like the Biggie song. These guys, the Pentels, drop a lot more ink and almost create that ombre effect, more so than these do. I don't know if that means these are gonna run out hella fast, and I guess I'll have to check back in with these after using them for a while to see how quickly they run out. I did feel that same kind of flopping over with some of these pens when I was lettering, but part of that is probably because I'm still getting used to them, so I don't know for sure. Test them here in my Scribbles That Matter, and I'm gonna take the darkest one from all of these colors. The darkest one is the Midnight one, and I'm gonna just give it a nice once over, and then I'll draw another one, and I'm gonna go over it 3 times. The going over it the 3 times, it started to come through a little bit, but just the once over, it was fine. It didn't shadow any worse than the Tombows or any other pens do. So these seem to be planner safe pens, which is good. The final thing we'll look at here is comparing this tip on the small tip on the Dream Pen here to the tip here on this also small, but not the same small pen. So these are the same color. They're both ocean. So I'm gonna just do really quick and up and a down. I will say though that the Dream Pen lays down a lot more ink than this one does, not just because of the size of it, but just because it has a juicier look to it the same way that the Pentel does versus the small brush. Those are the different nib sizes, so you can kind of see the difference. The other thing I want to add on here really quick is that I noticed this when I was doing the testing. These caps have like an inner cap where the pen goes. These also close better than the Dream Pens, by the way. They make a sound when they close, which is something I love, which is something I hated about the Dream Pens. There is like an additional, like you can't just put it in here and close it. There's another like tube you have to put it in inside the cap. And if you squish against that, if you're not paying attention, like I often do, you're gonna fuck your tip up. That kind of, I'm like, ugh, I'm not sure I'm a fan of that or not. So let's give you my thoughts on these overall, just from my first impressions of them. The first thing is the color selection is beautiful. Big fan of that. I would happily take some of these colors over Baby Poo. Like, what the fuck is this? You know, what's the point of that color? They're very comfortable. I could recommend these to you if you were heavy-handed or if you're a beginner. I feel like these would be a nice, easy pen to kind of get started with. So yes, 2 thumbs up to beginner pen situations. However, there is a caveat here. These Pentel pens, Baby Poo notwithstanding, without coupons, are cheaper and you get more of them. Pentels come in a pack of 12 for $21 on Amazon currently. These guys are $27 at Michael's for a pack of 10. Now, whether you like the color selections better or not, that's personal preference. I prefer the Kelly Creates color selection to the Pentel, with the exception I like the cooler gray better than the warmer gray, but that's one pen. But overall, this color selection appeals to me more. And sure, even if you use a 40% coupon and these cost like $18, you still get 2 less pens. So overall, I would say even with a coupon, the Pentel Arts, the sign pen, are at least an equal value. I am going with what was available on the package and the website because as a consumer, that is the information that I look at when I decide whether or not I'm going to buy something. And maybe this is a rant basically saying like consumers would like to be informed. This is the age of the internet. We can look shit up, so make it easy for us. Maybe that's what I'm saying. I wish I had gotten these instead of the Dream Pens when I first got them because I like these a whole bunch more. I am very, very glad that I was pleasantly surprised by these. I feel like even though these are more money than I might have wanted to spend, I think I'm going to get a hell of a lot of use out of them after being so salty in the other video. I'm glad that I didn't have to Salt Bae all over these guys, and that makes me feel a little bit better. And for fun, if you've gotten this far in the video, leave your favorite quote in the comments and maybe I'll letter it with these pens and post it on my Instagram @LlamaLetters. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.